Hello dear learners, this is Dr. Upasna Sharma and the topic of this video is lesson planning, its meaning, importance and characteristics. So let's start with the meaning of lesson plan. What is a lesson plan? A lesson plan is a framework for a lesson and it is the teacher's guide for running the particular lesson, and it includes three things. Firstly, the goal. Goal means what the students are supposed to learn. Secondly, how this goal will be reached. For that, a teacher requires some methods and procedures. And thirdly, the way of measuring how well the goal was reached, to measure the outcomes and the output. And it can be done through various types of tests, worksheets and homework. So, lesson plan means defining the objectives, selecting and arranging the subject matter, and determining the method and procedure. We can say it is the learning trajectory for a lesson. A daily lesson plan is developed by a teacher to guide class learning, and it gives the teacher a concrete direction of what she and he wants to take up for the day. In the words of Lester B. Stantz, a lesson plan is a plan of action, and it includes the working philosophy of the teacher, his knowledge of philosophy, his information about and understanding of his pupils, his or her comprehension of the objective of education, and knowledge of the material to be taught. And he should have an ability to utilize effective methods too. And according to Nelson Bossing, lesson plan is a statement of achievements to be realized and the specific means by which these are to be attained as a result of the activities engaged in day by day under the guidance of the teacher. According to this definition by Nelson Bossing, there is a change in emphasis. In the past days, teachers used to emphasize upon the knowledge as an end in itself, but in today's lessons, it is having a focus on acquiring desirable habits, attitudes, and skills that will lead to the social and personal development of the child. So, we can conclude that a lesson plan is a blueprint, it is a guide map for action, it is a creative piece of work, it is a comprehensive chart of classroom teaching, it is an elastic but systematic approach for the teaching of concepts, skills and understandings, etc. It is the teacher's mental and emotional visualization of the classroom experience as he or she plans to occur. So, we can say that lesson is like a journey and lesson plan is the map. Lesson plan sets out what the teacher hopes to achieve over the course of the lesson and how he or she hopes to achieve it. And now comes the importance of a lesson plan. Why a lesson plan is important? You can see on the screen, fail to plan is equal to plan to fail. If we don't have a plan, then we can make a plan to fail ourselves. So we can say failing to plan is planning to fail. Most important reason to plan is that the teacher needs to identify his or her aims for the lesson. A teacher needs to know what it is they want their student to be able to do at the end of the lesson that they couldn't do before. So teacher is more confident when he teaches if he or she has a lesson plan. A lesson plan helps a teacher in organized teaching learning process. It saves the time. Through lesson planning, the subject is organized properly. Lesson planning makes the proper atmosphere for learning processes. It keeps the teacher free from the faults of thoughtless teaching. It allows the teacher to apply appropriate strategy. It gives the teacher an idea about when he or she should start evaluation and what procedure he should follow next. Then lesson plan also makes sure that lesson is balanced and appropriate for the class. We can say planning is a sign of professionalism. So dear learners, a lesson plan gives the teacher an opportunity to predict possible problems and their solutions. It makes a teacher more confident. Now, characteristics of good lesson planning. Learning to plan is just like any other skill. It takes time and practice. In the beginning, one may find it a time-consuming process, but by creating a detailed lesson plans as a beginner teacher, one is able to develop routines that can become more automatic over time. So, a lesson plan should be in written form, and its general and important objectives should be clearly defined. It should relate to suitable teaching method and its use. It should reflect content from the previous lesson. And while making a lesson plan, we should take care about the subject, time, class, average age of the students, and it should be mentioned in the lesson plan. Some example should be included in lesson planning, and we should try to use some inspirational or motivational methods while making a lesson plan. In lesson planning, the time for each topic should appropriately be predetermined. And in lesson planning, the techniques and supportive material of education like charts, maps, and other audiovisual materials and its utilization should be written. Dear learners, in teacher education program, the lesson planning provides the guideline to pupil teachers during their teaching practice. Lastly, the effectiveness of a teacher depends on a good lesson plan. It develops the reasoning, decision-making ability, and imagination in pupil teacher. And it is only through a perfect lesson plan that a pupil teacher gains confidence in performing the classroom teaching activities. So this is all about a lesson plan, its importance and characteristics. Dear learners, I will be taking up various steps and approaches of lesson planning in my next video. Thank you.